What's going on, guys? My name is Professor Nigel, and today we're going to be taking a look at Call of Duty Vanguard's Champion Hill. So if you don't already know, I already have a video on how to play Champion Hill that's up on my channel. I will have a link at the end of the video, or you can just go hop on over to my channel and find it if you want to know how to play Champion Hill and just kind of how the basics of how this game mode works. You can go check out that video. I think it's a lot more in-depth on actually just the fundamentals of how everything works. But if you've just recently gotten this game, I'll go through a kind of synopsis of what you need to look out for, how this differs from gunfight, and then this video is going to be more centered around duos and trios and some of the things that I missed from the first video that kind of changed from the beta to the full game, as that is when I was kind of playing Champion Hill the most. And then obviously your strategies for duos and trios that might differ a little bit from solos, which was the playlist that was featured fairly heavily in the beta, and I played a lot during the beta, but I believe so far has only made a comeback for about a weekend or so on the actual full game. So let's get into it right now. So just a kind of brief and quick overview of Champion Hill. It is Vanguard's take on gunfight. So the gunfight from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, as well as Black Ops Cold War, which kind of changed it up and kind of introduced face-off and stuff like that, and kind of the smaller team game modes and stuff. This is essentially Vanguard's take on all of that. And it's kind of more geared towards almost like a tournament style. So every team has a specific set of lives, and you are essentially working to take everyone else out and make sure that they have no lives. So in duos, you have 12 lives, and in trios, you have 18 lives. Now, this is something that changed from the beta to the full game that I had missed when I had played duos in the beta. The 12 lives worked a little bit differently. So in the beta, the 12 lives, it was 6 for one teammate and 6 for the other, and you couldn't pull from the other person's set of lives. In the full game, that is not how it works. You have a communal set of 12 lives, so if your teammate dies 12 times in a row, that's it. You don't have any lives. You're sharing a set of 12 lives, so you're essentially just drawing from the same life pool that you have for the both of you. The same thing applies for trios, and then obviously this isn't too much of a problem in solos because it's just solos. But the other big thing that changes is you face a different team every round. So instead of facing the same team like you did in Gunfight, where it was just you were playing 7 rounds or best of 7 against one singular team, you're rotating against 8 other teams that are in the lobby, and you're rotating on different maps. There's about 5 or 6 different maps, all centered around a central buy station, which is another new aspect. You get to pick up cash that is scattered around the map, and then you also get cash during the course of the game for completing specific things. Getting kills will get you $100 cash. Getting the first blood will give you $500 cash. Winning the match will give you $1,000 bonus cash. As well as if you fully eliminate a team that round, that gives you another $500 bonus cash. There's also cash scattered around the map and extra cash that opponents will drop after you kill them, so it kind of pays to be near your opponents so you can pick up that extra cash that they drop. The final new addition to this game mode is the fact that there are buy stations. Now, splitting up the rounds of fighting, you will occasionally get scattered in a buy round. In the central area of all of these maps is your buy kind of area. It's almost like a Coliseum looking type thing that you can pretty much see from all of the maps, which I think is another really cool aspect. But all these buy stations, you can buy different weapons, you can buy perks, equipment, or kill streaks, and that is what really, I think, changes up this game. So the other thing that you need to take into account for in duos and trios is that unlike your lives, you have separate amounts of cash. Each teammate is fighting to have their own amounts of cash, and I think that's what can make duos and trios a lot more strategic and feel a lot different than solos. You're not just worrying about your own amount of cash, you're worrying about your teammates' amount of cash and what they can buy to help you win games. So some really important things to take in when you're playing duos and trios is hopefully you have someone that you can talk to and someone that you know well enough to actually be playing duos and trios with. Now, obviously, if you want to try and find a random duo, it can be quite challenging. I'm just going to warn you, I've tried multiple times, and maybe it might have just been the early days of Vanguard where this was an issue, but I think a lot of people were trying to see what Champion Hill was. They were coming in for 1 or 2 rounds and then leaving, so it was very difficult to find a teammate that would stay the entire way through the game, let alone actually have their mic on and try and communicate and go for wins. So I definitely really recommend trying to find someone that you can play with. I think that makes this game way more enjoyable, and that's definitely probably the first and foremost thing that I recommend. But again, there are a ton of Facebook, Instagram, whatever groups out there that you can always end up finding a teammate on. So fear not, if you don't have someone that has Vanguard, you can definitely go try and find someone there. The other thing to take into account, because you have a shared and set communal lives, you also need to make sure that you are working together to not die, or die the least amount of times that you can. Working together and moving on the same side of the map is very, very important. Being in the middle of the map, especially this map that we're watching right now, the spawns can get very wacky very quickly, and that's another thing to take into account. On this rectangle map in specifically, it's very easy if you have both your teammates in the middle of the map for people and enemies to be spawning on either end of the rectangle, and you're just kind of caught in the middle. So it's very important to kind of move together, know where your teammate is, know where your teammate's going, and use that communication to your advantage. This also becomes extremely important when you need to know what to buy during the buy rounds. Now, especially if you want to be going for some of the higher kill streaks, if one of your teammates wants to go for a Flame Knot, or you want to try and get the V2 Rocket, which is $25,000 cash, which is very, very difficult to attain, you need to know who's buying what and how everyone is spending their money. When you have your own set of money, it's kind of hard to keep track of who has what money, who's buying what, and there definitely needs to be some communication in the buy rounds. I think that makes the game a lot easier. So very much so, when you're going into the buy rounds, know who's buying what. One of the things that I think is most important to have on these small maps, and especially for duos when there's 2 people and you need to kind of be keeping track of 2 people, having a UAV constantly in the air is very, very important. They're only $500, and I think if you buy 3 UAVs, they should last at least 2 full matches, if not the 3rd match, before you eventually get back to the buy station. So buying UAVs is a very important thing to keep track of where people are. Not a lot of people know that you can be buying spy planes, and they also definitely don't know that you can buy Ghost. That's one of the perks that you can buy, and I also definitely recommend picking that up as long as you're not going for any of the high kill streaks and stuff, and you kind of have the cash. Ghost and spy planes are very, very important. Okay, so you know how to communicate with your teammate, you know how the cash system works, you know how you get bonuses, you know how pretty much it all works. I'm going to give you some more tips and tricks and things that you can kind of use to your advantage. Matches, again, only last 1 minute. So when you're low on lives, it's very, very important to play slow, play with your teammates, and make sure that you're not wasting lives. Especially when you get down to about the final 3 teams, you can essentially be rotating back and forth between playing 2 teams. And if one team has 8 lives and you have 2, you want to be playing very, very slow so you can hopefully get back to a buy round and possibly buy another life, or just have the other team kind of be able to take some of the lives off of the team that has the most amount of lives. So it's very, very important to know how to manage your game. Make sure you're keeping track of your timer, and make sure you know when you should be going to try and eliminate the other team, and when you should be sitting back and kind of just essentially camping and waiting for the timer to run itself down. This also goes hand in hand with your cash management. If you know that you're winning the match and you want the cash and you want the $1,000 bonus for winning the match, that also might be a sign, if there's 10, 15 seconds left and you're up by 1 kill and you've been keeping track of it, to just kind of sit back and wait so you can secure that cash bonus. The next 2 things to keep in mind are 2 things that are pretty much just going to be things that you just need to get used to and will come with you, as you kind of progress and get more experience in Champion Hill. One thing is the layout of the maps. I will have a graphic up on the screen right now. This is the layout of the 4 maps, as well as right in the middle. That is kind of the setup of the buy station arena and the kind of central coliseum that overlooks all 4 of the maps. But get familiar with the layouts. Again, that's going to be something that gets really familiar once you've just played a few matches of Champion Hill. It gives you a pretty good rotation of all the maps every time. So again, that's just really an experience thing. And the same thing with the guns. There is, at the moment, I don't know if it's changed with Season 1 just recently coming out, but you have a set list of guns, essentially, that come out when you start the match. So I believe right now it's the PPSH, the MP40, and the Owen gun. And you need to understand if you need to be ranking up your guns more, if you feel comfortable with using the guns just, base without any upgrades, or if you don't like the guns at all and you need to go to the buy station that has the weapons and buy a different gun. For me, personally, the PPSH ground loot, just basic, no attachments on it, I personally don't really like. So I usually try and go for the Itch Burst, or I think there's a DP27 or whatever that they have available at the buy station, and I usually go for one of those. So really, that's all preference. It's up to you. It's going to be subjective, which is why I'm not going to cover it too much. It's just going to be something that you have to figure out, but keep that in mind. Getting used to the map layout, and also getting used to the guns and knowing when you need to buy a different gun or upgrade your gun. Like for me, the Owen gun Iron Sight is very difficult to use. It's not impossible for me, but I really, really like immediately trying to upgrade and get something that I can actually use and something that feels a lot more comfortable. So after you get familiar with all these things, hopefully you'll feel a lot more comfortable in Champion Hill and you'll have secured a couple wins. Another couple things to keep in mind. I think first and foremost, one little piece of advice that I didn't realize at all until maybe a month into playing Champion Hill is once you've fully eliminated a team, they drop their weapons. Now, that isn't the big shocker right here. Once you've eliminated them, you can go over to their guns and you can pick up their guns to a certain level of what they've upgraded it to, or if you already have the gun, you should still be picking up the gun because it will combine their gun and your gun, and it will upgrade your gun 1 level. So if they have a base STG and you also have an STG but you've ranked it up a couple times, still pick up their STG. It'll rank your STG up 1. That is another little bonus that will help you. You won't then have to waste cash on upgrading said weapon, and it's just another small little piece to keep in mind. Also, along with enemies dropping ammo and cash after they die, they also drop armor plates. So again, I already said this about the cash, but if you need more ammo and you also want to pick up an armor plate, it becomes very, very important then to be somewhat close and be able to run over where you've just eliminated an opponent. So hopefully all these tips and tricks help you. Again, this is still something that I'm working on, and I've still been finding out things by the day, so if I missed anything, let me know. Hopefully this helps you in your duos and trios games. And lastly, go for the extra life. I said this in the first video, but I think the extra life token is the best thing that you can go for bright and early in the game. Or if you don't go for it, watch over it, and you can hopefully then pick up a few quick kills, especially on the map that we're playing on right now. You can get on some pretty nasty headies and kind of watch over the life token. But again, usually I really always think it's worth it to just go for the extra life token, even if you don't need it, or if you have a full 12 lives, it will give you $750 bonus cash. And if you get the extra life token, it takes that opportunity away from your opponent, which I think just ends up always becoming well worth it, even if you die right after, because it's almost then like you haven't died, and you just have started over from the beginning of the match because you just got an extra life. So again, I hope this has helped everyone that has watched the video. If it has, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below if it's helped you, and also if there's anything else that I missed or need to reiterate or refine. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you can, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.